Brendan here, aka the Gut Whisperer. As you can see, I'm in front of my whiteboard and there is a ton of literature behind me. So I had to kind of pan out a little bit so you can't quite make out everything. But don't worry, I will be discussing everything in full detail. If you don't know who I am, again, my name is Brendan. I'm the Gut Whisperer. I help people with their gut problems, their digestive challenges. If you have the typical Pepto-Bismol song, heartburn, gas, diarrhea, upset stomach, bloating, irregular bowel movements, I can certainly help you with all of those unwanted symptoms. Today's topic, IBS. IBS, Irritable Bowel Syndrome. What is it? Well, doctors don't really know. And when someone goes and gets a colonoscopy or they see a GI specialist or they even just go to their regular practitioner, regular MD doctor, and they'll say, "Doc, I've got all of these unwanted symptoms. What is it?" And they'll say, "You have IBS. Here's some anti-inflammatories and see you later. It has nothing to do with your diet. It's your genetics. See you later." Well, that answer is not good enough in my world. So I'm going to share with you a lot of information, symptoms, causes, treatment, and a natural prescription. So hang tight for the end because I'm going to share with you several natural remedies that you can incorporate in your life today. If you're not going to listen to anything else, at least you might be able to get a little bit of relief with regards to those symptoms. Now, quick little statistic to start off with. More than 30% of North Americans, Canadians, and Americans are currently diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome. Women are 2 times more likely to suffer from these challenges than men. Why is that? Well, a lot of it has to do with stress, and women just take on stress much more than men do. Women have much broader shoulders and they take on more stress. Now, in certain ways, of course, men have significant stressors, and this is a man's world and this is a woman's world. So I'm not gonna just play the sex game here, but women just tend to take on a lot of stress naturally. What is IBS? It is the malfunction of the digestive tract and bowels. Okay, so it is the loss of control, very, very unpredictable bowel movements. You don't know when you got to go next. A lot of times people won't even go out because they've lost control. In fact, my dad had IBS. He passed away just over 5 years ago, and he had IBS. And you could tell, like, he was very, very upset. And anyone that has IBS, you really are seriously depressed. You lose your joie de vivre, and you don't want to go out, you don't want to do functions, and you don't want to socialize that much because you just don't know when you got to go. And if you don't address it, IBS, then that will lead eventually to some serious complications down the road. And then my dad passed away from a very specific type of cancer in the colon. And certainly there's a lot of lifestyle factors that contribute to that, but nevertheless, if you don't address your IBS, you're destined to some challenges down the road. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is what it is. Now, symptoms. What are the symptoms that come along with IBS? There's a long, long list, but I'll list just 10 of them. Constipation, again, and diarrhea, fluctuating between constipation and diarrhea. The definition of constipation is when you don't have a bowel movement anything longer than a day to 2 days and more so. I've got some clients that don't even go maybe once a week. That's some serious constipation and some buildup. And of course, on the flip side, diarrhea, you're just always eliminating and you don't know when you're eliminating. It's just always flushing out. So that's that. Mucus in the stool, certainly when you look, if there's like a bit of a film on top of the water, that's mucus, definitely a symptom. Abdominal pain and cramping, that is definitely uncomfortable. No one likes it. That is an expression of IBS. Flatulence and rumblings. That means, like, I suffered from this, and it's like having a swamp or fireworks exploding in your stomach. Also very uncomfortable. Nausea, headaches, because the gut is also connected to our brain, and we've got a uncomfortable gut, we're definitely going to have an uncomfortable brain. Fatigue is a huge thing when the immune system is trying to process and eliminate all sorts of things that don't belong. We're going to get tired. And this is a very fatiguing and exhausting condition to have. Burping and heartburn. Certainly what's on the end of the fork can cause some serious gas, but if you've got compromised digestion and a decreased amount of proper hydrochloric acid in your stomach, that will result in a lot of gas, and gas goes up, sometimes gas goes down, so that can be expressed as also heartburn and GERD. Number 9, brain fog and depression. I talked about fatigue, but again, brain fog is huge. If you've got a leaky gut, you've got a leaky brain. And what does that mean? It just means that your brain is absorbing some of these pathogens and chemicals, and they don't belong. And as a result, that's causing a lot of inflammation in your brain, really resulting in your brain's ability to function at its highest capacity. Finally, number 10, but there's more, but hormones. When someone has IBS, they will have a significant fluctuation in hormones, especially with menstrual cycles, significant heavy cycles, and being all over the place, whether you're late or early, super heavy, emotional. That's a big sign and symptom of IBS. Now, what are the causes of IBS? There's 4 main ones. Number 1, obviously diet, but a lot of people will consume too much refined carbohydrates, very high in sugar, and also very low in fiber. So that causes a serious imbalance of gut microbes in your gut. So number 2, food allergies. What's on the end of your fork, if your body doesn't agree with some of the foods that you're eating, of course, there's going to be an immune response, there's going to be elevated histamine levels because it's trying to evacuate those foods that are causing you challenges. So again, foods, that's definitely a cause. Number 3, candida overgrowth, parasites, and dysbiosis. Also, you've heard of SIBO. SIBO can cause IBS. What is candida? Candida is a yeast. It thrives in the gut. And when you have candida overgrowth, that is crazy. It will manipulate your brain. It'll make you have cravings for sugar. It overrides your whole system. It causes more and more leaky gut. It burrows its roots in your system. Not good. You definitely want to kill off your candida. And again, candida is sort of similar. They work together with even parasites. If you've got bugs, you've got to kill them off so they're not always invading your body and just eating and thriving off of the food that you should be eating, but the bugs are eating them. And number 4, huge one, stress. Lack of stress coping mechanisms. We are in a very stressful time right now. It is up to us to regulate our stress response and have good stress coping skills, because if we don't, we just take on too much. We put on the world on our shoulders, and a lot of times with people with IBS, they're just eliminating all the time, and they're just like constantly eliminating, and that's caused largely by stress. And then on the flip side, there are people that are like contractors and restrictors, and then when they're stressed, their bowels aren't moving, and they just get a buildup more and more of fecal matter. Also not good. So those are the 4 causes of IBS. What's the treatment? What can you do? Well, if you know me and my protocol, my 5 steps to resetting your digestion, I'm going to expand on this. So number 1, remove the assaulting foods. Whatever the foods are that you know that are causing the issue, get rid of them. Number 2, rest and repair and reintroduce. Certainly one of the best approaches that you can do is a juice cleanse for 2 or 3 or 4 days. That will help eliminate all of the matter that's in your gut, all while delivering a high concentration of vitamins and minerals and enzymes. And that helps repair the entire gut. And then also reintroduce. You've got to reintroduce good, healthy, holistic foods, whole foods, nutrient-dense foods, foods that are easy to digest and that will not cause gas and disturbance. Number 3, begin to reintroduce soluble fiber foods. Now, if you reintroduce soluble fiber foods too fast, that will cause disturbances in gas and bloating. You got to be really specific. So foods that are high in goitrogens, I wouldn't necessarily recommend consuming those just yet. You got to do the whole protocol. But if you are going to eat them, cook them. Break down that soluble fiber so they're very soft and very easy to digest. Number 4, drink lots and lots of water. You need to help promote motility and help flush out toxins. In addition to that, I'm a big proponent of drinking reishi coffee or reishi infused tea. Obviously, you know where to find that. This guy right here. Number 5, probiotics, postbiotics, prebiotics. What are they? Well, we want to re-inoculate our microbiome. We want to support our healthy bacteria. We want to decrease our pathogenic bacteria. How do we do that? Take probiotics, eat prebiotic foods such as kefir, sauerkraut, coconut yogurt. Those are all fantastic prebiotic foods. In addition to that, some soluble fiber foods, because our gut microbiome, those gut bugs, love these soluble fiber foods. They're prebiotic foods. Number 6, get rid of dairy, sugar, corn, gluten, hydrogenated oils, fried foods. Get rid of them all. Refined foods, get rid of them. Stop eating them. They're causing an assault. And then right here, I've got an asterisk, meat. Meat is very, very, very healing. A lot of practitioners will say, stop eating red meat. Me, on the other hand, I'm a proponent and advocate of eating red meat. However, make sure that it's from good, sustainable sources, and make sure you're not frying them, and make sure you're not charring them, so you're not eating the carcinogens with that roasting, like that charred meat. You don't want to eat that. That's not good. Number 7, spicy food. Alcohol, wheat bran. Some people say taking wheat bran because it's high in fiber. No, we don't want to bulk up the whole GI tract, especially if there's constipation happening. Spicy food, I can't stress this enough. If you have any sort of inflammatory condition of the bowels, do not eat anything spicy. Also, Google if you don't know what they are, find out what nightshades are, and eliminate those from your diet as well. Last but not least, sparkling drinks, bubbly water, carbonated beverages, stop drinking them. They suppress stomach acid, they halt digestion. You're not doing you any favors. In addition to that, don't drink when you are consuming meals. Stay away from drinking liquids with your meals. Also, the liquids suppress digestion. The digestive process requires a tremendous amount of energy and heat by production of hydrochloric acid. And when we drink, we're essentially watering down that whole process. So don't do that. I hope you're still following along. This is the last part. This is the natural remedies. This is the part that you probably wanted to wait for. If you're not going to do any of this, at least try maybe some of these suggestions. Certainly, I would rather you take the work approach, but these are some natural solutions that you can try to incorporate. Peppermint oil. Peppermint oil reduces cramping, so you can look for a good oral essential oil, peppermint oil. Number 2, gelatin root. Basically, it's a bitters. And if you consume that before your meal, the bitters will stimulate your stomach to start to produce hydrochloric acid, which you need to digest foods. So definitely that's a good tool. Digestive enzymes, look for them maybe with betaine HCl. Digestive enzymes are what's responsible for the breaking down of foods once they pass into the duodenum, into the small intestine. Our pancreas releases digestive enzymes. So you can look for a plant source of digestive enzymes, or you can actually look for pancreatic enzymes. Nevertheless, they help with your digestion. Number 4, of course, I just said probiotics. If you've got some serious issues, you might want to look for a probiotic called Saccharomycin. It is known as the Traveler's probiotic. Why? It's because it's diverse. It's just a different strain, and it just helps with certain strains of imbalance of bacteria. Number 5, ginger root. Ginger is very, very calming and good for the stomach. A lot of times if people have nausea or upset stomach, ginger root will help suppress some of those unwanted symptoms. Number 6, skullcap. Skullcap relaxes the central nervous system. And again, when people have IBS, oftentimes they're stressors and they're compactors and they just restrict everything. So by being relaxed, that can help promote some bowel motility and help with evacuation of some bowel movements. Number 7, one of my favorites, reishi mushroom. Reishi is a superfood. It is the #1 most powerful superfood on the planet, next to liver, but liver comes from an animal. We're talking about relaxing the central nervous system. Reishi mushroom is very, very powerful at relaxing us. In addition to many, many benefits, it helps cross the blood-brain barrier. It helps detoxify. It helps regulate our hormones. It acts as an adaptogen. So if we are high stress, it helps decrease our stress. And if we're very, very low and lethargic, it helps kind of pick us back up. And number 8, aloe vera juice. Very, very healing and soothing for the entire gut lining. So that is how you can manage your IBS. And if you want to work with me, if you want to participate in one of my gut reset protocols, certainly you're more than welcome to. I've got one coming up May the 20th of 2022. So it's right around the corner. Reach out, send me an email, info@bodiesbybrendan.com. Leave a comment right here below. I would be happy to talk with you over the phone and just see if it's a fit for you. And again, I'm the Gut Whisperer, and I talk to people's guts in good health and in good spirit. Talk to you next time.